everyone, welcome back to my homestead. Today I'm going to unbox some of the seeds that I have ordered from local seed companies. We're going to start with Revival Seeds. So these guys are not too far from me, but far enough I wasn't able to drive down there. And I don't believe they actually have a storefront, although they do attend quite a bit of the CD Saturday events. So I spent $62 with tax and shipping from them, and I got a good variety of seeds, some things that I've grown from them before and some things that I'm really excited to start growing again this year for the first time. So let's start with some of those exciting things. I got some Tom Thumb popcorn, and I'll put some of these up on the screen for you to see. And this one, yeah, I'm excited to try it. I've had popping corn from our local CSA in the past, and it's done really well to pop and be tasty. So I'm gonna give that a shot in my garden. I also got some additional corn. This one was a flint corn, and this was for grinding and turning into corn flour. I got some of the tomatoes that I really enjoy. I'm able to find a good variety there. So some of our favorites, like the Furwick tomato. These ones, Furwick is the German word for firework, and they're just a beautiful striped tomato. They did really well for us even in our really poor season last year. So they're definitely getting another shot in the garden this year. Paul Robson. This is our tried and true favorite. I got 2 seed packets because I'm going to dedicate a fair amount of space in my garden to these. They are just a really versatile tomato. So they're really, really meaty. I find them great for slicing and putting on hamburgers or sandwiches. But because they're so meaty and they have a lower water content, they're also really good for canning. So they're nice and big, beefsteak tomatoes, they're easy to process, and some of our favorites flavor-wise also. We got some Italian heirloom tomatoes. These are a new one that we're going to try this year. It was one of the family's favorites to grow themselves. So to me, that says that if a seed grower is growing this in their kitchen garden, that you better try to put it in yours if you're able to. And this did fit our days to maturity restraints here in our area, where we only have about 90 to 95 frost-free days. Hopefully we'll have a better season this year than we did last. I got the Sunrise, a bumblebee cherry tomato. This one said that it was a Wild Boar Farms variation, so they had brought those seeds here to Canada. Hopefully we'll get a good shot with those. And then on to some peppers. So I got these purple Marconi sweet peppers. They were a bell pepper. I'm excited to give them a shot. We've struggled with some of our bell peppers in the past, so we're really trying to find our tried and true favorite bell pepper that get to a good grocery store size. King Crimson Pepper. This one ripens to a red and is also a bell pepper that fit within our day to maturity area, so we're gonna give them a shot. We'll be starting our peppers here soon. I've got to do some math, and I'll try to throw that up on the screen for you guys of when our anticipated last frost date is and when I might start actually seeding these. I'm going to swing you around and show you some of my challenges at the moment. These 2 critters over here are both Tilly and Sprocket. Sprocket is our current foster dog from Standard Poodles in Need. This is our first foster, and he is just lovely, but he is such a cuddle bug and doesn't want to be very far away from the humans. So I think I'm gonna have some challenges detaching myself to go do productive things. Luckily, they're having a good cuddle on the sofa together and letting me film a video. Hopefully they'll continue to be adorable. And let me get this done. All right, better angle. I also ordered some zucchini. I'm really hoping to do better with zucchini this year. If you have any tried and true secrets please do let me know, because I've really struggled with zucchini in the past. I don't know what my issue is. I know that I do struggle with powdery mildew. So I've tried pruning the zucchini, and that really hasn't yielded any results. I tried staking it and pruning it. That didn't do well either. So yeah, if you know what some people might be challenged with zucchini, and some other tips and tricks that I could try, I greatly appreciate it. I ordered another type of zucchini too. This is a Constanata zucchini, and yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot. I find that funny that I've got 2 in there because I went shopping today. So today I did my last seed shopping, and I went to Halifax Seed here in Nova Scotia. They're downtown Halifax, so I had an appointment and I was in the area, so I stopped in and I picked up what I think is going to be my last seeds, but let's be realistic. The farm market in Mount Uniacke still hasn't opened out here yet, and they do bring in seeds, and they carry Halifax seeds also. They also do a fair amount of transplants and such, so I tend to impulse buy when they open again in the spring. I know they just announced a date and they're opening in April this year, so it's very exciting. But this is what I did. I went to Halifax Seed and I got 2 more types of zucchini. So one that I didn't see on the Annapolis Seed site is called a lemon zucchini. And it's a round yellow fruit, and it's supposed to be sweet and tender with a dense flesh. And yeah, it says that they keep bearing until frost. So we're definitely gonna give this one a shot. We're gonna have a really big variety of zucchini in the garden. And then I bought some seeds that are a Bossa Nova. This is a variegated zucchini, and it was only 45 days to maturity, so we're gonna give that a shot. It says that it should do well here in Nova Scotia, so we'll see. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, so I'm gonna try a whole bunch of different varieties and see what sticks. I talked about wanting to get some broccolini, so I did pick up some broccolini seeds when I was there today. This is 50 days to maturity and resembles a broccoli rabe with a asparagus-like stem. So you can eat the stems also, and hopefully we'll get an okay yield from that. I went ahead and picked up some early snowball cauliflower, and hopefully we'll be able to get some of these to germinate. I've had some germination troubles in the past, and I realized that this is one of the seeds that has a shorter shelf life, and because there's so many seeds in the packet, there's quite a few here, I'm not dedicating enough garden space to plant all of the seeds in 1 year, and after 3 to 5 years the germination drops quite a bit. So we got some fresh seed, and hopefully we'll do okay. And the reason I went to Halifax Seed in the first place, the Midnight Snack tomatoes. Last year I grew a different variety of black cherry tomatoes, hoping to have a similar flavor, and it was not the case. So this is, yeah, one of the commercial products that I've just not found a heirloom replacement for, and that's okay. We're not, no great organic garden here. There's no reason not to grow, an F1 hybrid or hybrid seeds in general. So we're gonna use the commercially produced seeds and enjoy our Midnight Snack tomatoes. All right, and on to the next order. Our next order was from Cochrane Family Farms, and these are the guys that got me into local seeds. So I'm sure I had watched at some point in a YouTube video that someone was doing well with a locally developed seed, and that those seeds can adapt to your local microclimate more so than seeds that are imported and then distribute it widely throughout a country or even through multiple countries. yeah, so when they've had a chance to acclimate to your local climate, they tend to do a little bit better. So Cochrane Family Farms was my largest order, I believe, and we spent $91 with shipping. So I think that's quite reasonable. We've spent more on seeds in the past, and I've also spent less on the seeds in the past. This year, I don't have a huge amount saved, but hopefully we'll be able to start saving some more of our own seeds here in the future. First thing that I've got from Cochrane Family Farms are some herbs. I said in previous videos that herbs are something that I struggled with during the pantry challenge, and I do really want to be able to grow more of my own herbs. They're expensive at the grocery store, and Chris really enjoys cooking with fresh herbs. So let's try to do better and get some more in our food this summer and then store it on the pantry shelf for the winter. So I did get some sacred basil, which is also known as Tulsi. I got some Greek oregano seeds, some chives. These are a annual. They'll continue to come back, even in my perennial, and they'll come back even in my 6B, 6A climate here. So yeah, I've got some out in the garden already, but I feel like I could use some more chives in my life. So those were the herbs that I got from them. I did get a free gift of some rutabaga. If you watched my previous video, you know that I'm not a huge fan of rutabaga. We already get it in our CSA. I believe these are an older seed and had a lower germination rate, and were the reason they were giving as a free gift, but that's okay. I will plant them. Chris said that he wants to eat them himself, or I'll just give them away to neighbors or feed the chickens, and I'm okay with that. But we'll give some rutabaga a shot if I can find space for it in the garden. My Shulo long cucumbers. So these are very similar to an English cucumber that you would find in the grocery store, but they actually curl. So they don't grow, you know, super straight. They're not going to look like the cucumbers you see on the grocery store shelf, but they are just as delicious. And they've done really well for me here. They're 61 days to maturity, and you know, they do well. They don't tend to get powdery mildew like some of the other things. And this was originally recommended by Frank at Cochrane Family Seeds the first time that I had gone out and visited their little farm store to pick up seeds. Must have been in 2021. We took a little venture out that way. Also, impulse buy, I got the Tigerilla tomato. So this is a 2-inch round tomato. You know, it's going to be a bit smaller. Kind of looking for a little saladette, and it is variegated, so we'll give it a try. I also got some black strawberry tomatoes, and this is just another variety of cherry tomatoes that I'm going to give a shot this year. Not one I've tried in the past, but I am looking forward to it. It's a bit longer, 80 to 85 days to maturity. But they say that they're very hardy and extremely productive, and these are the kind of messagings and advice that I'm looking for when I'm going to put things in my garden. Knowing that our microclimate here is quite harsh, we're gonna look for those hardy and extremely productive and things that are going to continue into frost for fruition. So the black strawberry tomato, they're also pretty. Of course, I have more tomatoes because tomatoes and peppers are the things that I like to grow the most. I find they give me the best value, but they also taste so much better coming out of the garden than they do at the grocery store once they've been shipped to those shelves. And it's just, you know, hard to find, and the cost of them is rising. And with the price of food here in Canada at the moment, any way I can save is going to be a huge deal. So they did give me an additional free gift. I got the Granny Chanterelle Red German tomatoes. It does note on the packet that it has a lower germination rate, and they did state that it was 64%. So I will go ahead and seed all of these seeds. It is an indeterminate seed, and it does come from a World War II soldier who was returning home from Germany. It's a beefsteak tomato that says that it can have fruits that weigh up to 2 pounds and that they're good for canning. So maybe this is something that we'll really like and end up growing alongside Paul Robson in the future. We've talked about our Moonglow tomatoes as well as our Cosmonaut Volkov. They are both a yellow tomato. The Moonglow are indeterminate and the Cosmonaut are determinate, meaning that you won't prune these and that they'll grow to a certain height and then set all the fruit at one time, where this will continue to set fruit until frost kills the plant. I found that I really like these because they have a lower acidity and they're just delicious. They're both a pretty meaty tomato, so I've used these in my canning also. Really looking for a lot of variety and versatility from my tomatoes when I'm putting them in my garden. I did order in my opinion, a boring tomato. I got a Fundy tomato. This was developed here in Nova Scotia in Kentville. And I'm gonna give this a shot. I tried it last year and didn't have fantastic results. But as you know, we had an extremely hard growing season here in Nova Scotia last year with both forest fires, drought, heavy rain, and really inconsistent temperatures. So we're gonna give this one a try and grow some red tomatoes for those people who always tease me that I don't have any in my garden. And because red tomatoes are boring, I also got some Goldie. I really enjoy having different color tomatoes and fun ones with different stories. So, it's got a good rich flavor. They tend to have less acidity when they're a yellow or orange tomato. And yeah, we're gonna give Goldie a shot. It says only 75 days to maturity, and it's another one of those really large beefsteak tomatoes. Peppers. So a lot of people have trouble germinating peppers. I've had really, really good luck. So I tend to grow a lot and then either sell or give away some plants just in exchange for the seed costs and the starting costs, because I do have quite a setup here in our basement. Some of my friends have cats, and if you've ever lived with cats, they like to knock things over. So they find it more difficult to start seeds in general, and with peppers that don't like to be knocked over or upside down, they don't do as well when they can be disturbed. And some friends just don't have the space. So I've got a wide variety of peppers. I'm going to start with the tangerine pimentos. This is a new one to us this year, and that is because we have the Amish pimento peppers. Both of these are sweet bell type pepper with a thick skin, but they're also a smaller one. They're more baseball size than like bell pepper size that you would find in the grocery store. The Amish pimento peppers yielded really, really well for me the first year that I grew them. I got a lot put up in the freezer, and I was just really happy with how they stored, how they tasted, and how they cooked. So we're gonna try these tangerine pimentos that ripen to yellow to try to give us a bit more color and variety. So those are two peppers that we're doing this year. I'm doing the Cayenne Ring of Fire peppers. These are hot pepper. They're more difficult to start, so I do use a heat mat to start my hot peppers to make sure that those soil temperatures are warm to give the seeds what they need to germinate. These came to fruition for us here last year, even with our tough growing climate. So I'm excited to see how they do this year. I look forward to being able to smoke and dehydrate some for seasoning blends and mixes, and hopefully make some of my own seasoning for the future. It's always great when you can dehydrate some things like this and have them on the pantry shelves. Early jalapenos are a tried and true favorite in this house. I got 2 packets because you can never have enough. We like cowboy candy, salsa verde, and lots of other things that require jalapenos to cook. yeah, and they've got 30 seeds per packet. So, you know, in a great world, we would have 60 seeds. I usually plant them about 12 inches apart. Peppers like to hold hands, the plants do, so they don't require the spacing of other things. I should be able to get 50 pepper plants in one 50-foot row in the garden. So I'm excited for these. One of the peppers that I might impulse buy if I do see them in a store sometime soon would be habanero, which is the no heat pepper. That is a replacement of a jalapeno. So we'll see if we find any of those seeds around here. I've not seen them as of yet. And yeah, we have some things where we love the flavors of the jalapenos, but could do without the heat, or could use a little help balancing the heat sometimes, especially when we're feeling lazy and not de-seeding before a recipe. But yeah, these are great heat lovers. They're 70 days to maturity, and it's always nice when we can grow a hot pepper here in Nova Scotia. A bell pepper that I'm going to try again is the King of the North. A lot of people swear by the California Wonder bell peppers. I've unfortunately not had great success with them here in the past. These King of the North peppers are better suited to a more northern climate, and they're only 70 days to maturity. So hopefully I will have greater success and be able to get some more of those large traditional bell peppers. I have a lot of big plans for how I would like to cook and preserve these, so hopefully they'll give me some yield. And my last pepper from them is the Hungarian Hot Wax. I have a lot of friends that really like hot peppers. They don't tend to start them themselves, but they'll happily grow them when I germinate and start the peppers for them. So we'll give another shot for these Hungarian hot peppers and see how they like them. And if they don't like them, I will ferment them and turn them into hot sauce. And when I say I will, Chris will. Chris does the fermenting in the house where I do the canning and pressure canning. So this is how we kind of divide and conquer the food preservation. He also does the smoking, but I'll do the dehydrating, because when you're growing 3,000 square feet, it's often a lot of food coming in at one time, and it's really, really easy to get overwhelmed by the abundance, especially if you don't have a plan or you don't have help. All right, so that was it for Cochrane Family Farms. Again, I can't recommend these guys enough. A great local family-owned farm here in Nova Scotia. They're certified organic, and they're doing a lot of great things for the local farm economy. So yeah, if you're local or just want some great organic seeds here in Canada, they tend to have really short days to maturity on a lot of their plants, and I've done really well with them. I also mentioned in one of my other videos, they're the people that you can just call up and ask questions if you're having a rough year, and they're going to give you honest advice and opinions. All right, so on to Annapolis Seeds. These guys actually sell their seeds at Halifax Seeds, and were, I think, the first local grown seeds that I actually ever came across. Cochrane Family Farms is probably the local one that I did the biggest order with first, and the only local seed provider that I've actually visited the farm, which was kind of fun. But these guys, because they sell their seeds at Halifax Seed, might be a little bit more popular or known, and is easier to source. So that's where I got into that. And the reason I bought seeds from them is this. The Amarilla tomatillo. When I moved home from Mexico after college, I really liked salsa verde. I found it hard to get salsa verde that I enjoyed or I thought that tasted authentic. Not that what I'm canning now is necessarily authentic, but it's certainly delicious. So yeah, tomatillos quickly became a priority in my garden, especially when I was no longer able to purchase salsa verde in the grocery store during the pandemic in 2020. It was one of the things that just was never in stock. So this is my tried and true tomatillo. This year, I'm also giving their Tama Verde tomatillo a try. It is a traditional green tomatillo, and it looks like it's going to be a bit larger fruit. So we're gonna give that a shot, see if the flavor's any different, see how that affects our salsa verde. So I'm excited to give these a shot. And this was what made me realize that growing local seeds was worth it. I had tried to grow a tomatillo seeds from a large multinational company and had zero success. Even when I planted, 12 to 18 plants for cross-pollination, I did not have a single fruit come to maturity. So having these guys come to maturity early in the season and up until the first frost really showed me that having something that was adapted to your climate can be so unbelievably important. So thanks Annapolis Seeds for helping me figure that out. All right, a favorite for many home gardeners is the SunGold Select, which is a small yellow cherry tomato. So we're gonna grow these again this year. They're just fun, nice to have for garden snacks, great in a salad. So definitely on the list again this year. I got a free gift, which is an Aztec Sweet Nicotiana, which is actually a tobacco plant. It says that it's going to have wave after wave of fragrant white flowers from summer to frost. So I think this I'm going to plant kind of as a borderline hedge to give us a bit of privacy, and hopefully we'll find enough space for the seeds that we have here. Yeah, it's always fun to try something new, so thanks for the bonus seeds. I did get quite a few flowers from them. I know that I talked about maybe not needing flowers or having the space to dedicate for flowers, but oops, they were pretty, and hopefully we can find some space for them in the garden. I got some black ball bachelor buttons that can also be used as a dye plant, so we're gonna try those. I got some regular bachelor buttons because I think that they're pretty, and I've seen them on You Can't Eat the Grass, which is another Canadian YouTube channel. Serena and Ian are now flower farmers exclusively, but I am constantly wooed by the pretty things that they grow. We have completely different growing climates. They're very dry, where we're really wet and cold. So while I can't often take a lot of their growing advice directly, their seed starting tips are fun, and just it's always nice to watch some other gardeners have a good time. I got some straw flowers also thanks to them. Hopefully the crinkly noise is as satisfying in person as it is on YouTube. I also gathered some Mammoth Russian sunflowers. We've done the Mammoth Russian sunflowers in the past. I hope to save the seeds for both eating and for the chickens at the end of the season. So we're gonna give those a shot. I don't think you can ever have enough sunflowers in the garden. I remember that being one of the things that we grew often when I was a kid. We had a south-facing wall at the end of our house, and I just remember having towering sunflowers. I'm sure they weren't as tall as I remember, but I remember them being extremely beautiful. I'll have to see if my mom can find a photo. She hoards photos, so I know she has a lot to go through, but maybe she'll be able to find those ones for me. We've got some golden nasturtium. I've talked about this being a fantastic trap crop in the garden, so it can trap a lot of pests in the garden and attract a lot of them to the nasturtium, and they'll feed on that flower rather than your food crops. You can actually eat these as well. I choose not to, and they're pretty, so some nasturtiums. I've got some more herbs. So we talked about really needing a lot more herbs this year, and I bought a lot more herbs this year. So hopefully we have better gear with that. I got some mountain mint. They said that it wasn't going to spread as much. Otherwise, most mints, it's a joke in the gardening world that you must contain your mint or it will take over your entire garden. So hopefully this won't be as difficult to contain, excuse me. I'm still not going to put it directly into my garden. I will most likely put it in a pot or a very separate garden bed. All right, and English time. So we did manage to grow some thyme last year, and I think I might actually have some still surviving out in my garden pots. But we'll see, and I think we need to grow a lot more this year. I didn't get a chance to preserve any of the thyme that I had last year, so hopefully we will get lots of English thyme. I'm going to dedicate more space to our herbs this year rather than just growing them in pots, and hopefully we'll have some great production. I also got some sugary peas. Peas are a fantastic nitrogen fixer, so with me growing such an abundance of both tomatoes and peppers, I know that my soil could very easily become nitrogen deficient. If I am growing 2 years in a row, which is not recommended, I know that I should be doing better crop rotation, but unfortunately I do not yet have the space to do a whole lot of crop rotation. So when I grow nightshades 2 years in a row, I make sure to follow them with either a pea or a bean that do fix the nitrogen in the soil. So hopefully I can find some peas and beans that do well for me and that I actually enjoy eating. So this is going to be a new variety that we try for this year. I also got some green arrow peas. These are a shelling pea, so whereas these are a snapping pea, I hope to be able to preserve and freeze some of these as peas. I impulse bought some Stellar Long purple eggplants. I tried my first eggplant last year, really enjoyed it. I know Chris enjoys cooking with it. He was excited that I enjoyed that because I am definitely the pickier eater out of the two of us. So I will try to grow eggplant. I know that it's a bit of a risk in my climate, but yeah, it's just one of those things to try out and see if we can be productive with. And I did get some Zamboni rab, which was a broccoli rab. So another sprouting broccoli, and hopefully we'll have some good production and be able to put some broccoli in the freezer and in our meals. So that is the seeds for 2024. I think we have a fantastic variety for our garden for this year. And I look forward to next year having a smaller seed purchase perhaps, or to purchase some different varieties, because I did purchase myself from Annapolis Seeds a seed saving book. This is done by Seeds of Diversity Canada and has some really great recommendations on how to save seeds. And it looks like a whole bunch of science on saving seeds. So hopefully I'll be able to learn to save more seeds rather than just some of the easy things like sunflower seeds and flower seeds where it's very evident where the seeds are and how to save them. I look forward to trying to save some of my own tomatillo seeds, especially because I do grow so many of them. And yeah, hopefully 2024 will be the year of seed saving in our garden. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm really looking forward to the 2024 garden season. I'll hopefully be starting my seeds shortly. I know that my grow room is an absolutely disaster in the basement. It quickly becomes the chicken room in the winter time when it's not being used to grow food. So I will need to do some cleaning down there, and I can't wait to take you guys down there and show you my setup. It wasn't very expensive and it works fantastically well, where in this house I have limited south-facing windows. So yeah, hopefully I'll show you how you can start seeds when you need artificial light. I'll catch you guys on the next one, and happy gardening!